Okay, welcome back. We are now going to look at the Places section of Google Earth. Keep in mind, when you're looking at your Google Earth, most of the time the Places is going to be empty, and mine has a couple KMZs in it already because I use them. So let me show you what a KMZ looks like. The Cultural Dolls is one of my favorite, and notice that it's here right now, but once I click on it and click on the plus sign, then I can see all of the various dolls that are in this file. What happened is Mary Fran, a fellow Google certified teacher from California, is a third grade teacher in Alta Vista School in Los Gatos. She has, well, you can read this. The project helped realize how many different places our parents and grandparents came from. We liked doing this project and finding out about our heritage and each other. So these students basically went home and found out where their native land was. They found out, did some research about their native costumes, and then they made kind of like flat Stanley-esque paper dolls and dressed them in their native clothing, and then Mary Fran helped them to find the country, and then she made place marks in with those pictures. So let me show you just a couple of them. If we go to, say, Mexico, we can see one of the, let's go to Mexico. Okay, Los Gatos, get out of there. And we'll click on the, maybe we won't click on the Mexico doll. Let's go over to England. And here we are. Oh, come on. You gonna open up? Okay. Come on, open up. Alright, I have a feeling that something's going on with my mouse. But, okay, here's Scotland. Let's see if Scotland's going to cooperate. Boy, my, there we go. So, basically, this is how they all looked. They all had a doll, and they put them in their native clothing, and they're all around the world. So these third graders not only learned about their heritage, but learned that there are places where their friends are from all over the world. And that is a KMZ of all of her students, and she put them in their individual countries where they were from. Now there's another one I want to show you that is the Civil War battlefields, and if I click on that in the plus sign, I can see all of the different battlefields, and they're color coordinated with the north and south. If I go down further, you can see, you could pick one out. If I go down to, say, Days Gap, Sand Mountain, Alabama, each one of these pinpoints has a website attached to it, so you can learn more information about each of the Civil War battlefields. And it's ridiculous how rich in resources these battlefields are, and I really appreciate the person who took their time to put all these in. But you can find KMZs that are already made online, and I'll show you where those are in a little while. But I want to show you how to make one, and then I'm going to give you the time to practice. So this is what you do in order to make your own KMZ, keyhole markup zipped file, or you're going to make your own couple place marks. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down to Washington, D.C. right now. I put it in the search engine, fly to Washington, D.C. So I'm going to go fly over to Washington, D.C. And meanwhile, I'm going to uncheck my battlefields so they don't show up anymore. And here I am in Washington, D.C. So we're going to do some investigation on the Potomac River. So I'm going to make a place mark to show where my students are going to stop and take a water sample. So I begin my making of place marks around the Potomac by initially starting a folder from My Places. So you need to right click on My Places, go to the word Add, and then continue down to Folder. Once you click on the word Folder, you give it a name, and then anything you put in this white space will automatically be shown when you open up that folder. So okay, I'm not sure why this is showing up, but we're going to get rid of it. My folder. Aha, I know why it's showing up, because I've got my spaces. Aha, I finally figured it out. So I'm just going to put My Folder. I'm going to scroll down to the end and click OK. So you can see that here is my folder, but for the sake of argument and so you can see it easily, I'm going to just click on it and pull it all the way to the top right underneath My Places, which is where yours would be when you made a folder. So here's my first folder, and all of my place marks are going to go inside this folder. So I'm going to right click again on that folder. I'm going to go to the word Add again, but this time, instead of making a folder, I'm going to make a place mark. And because I opened it up from the folder, this place mark is going to be housed inside of that folder. So now I'm going to make a place mark, and I'm going to call this water sample. Now let me move this place mark out of the way, and you'll notice that I have a blinking yellow push pin, and there is a yellow push pin here. Think there's any resemblance? Sure there is. So I'm going to move this push pin because we're going to take a water sample right here. We're going to take a water sample out of this area. So I'm going to put it right here, but I hate yellow push pins. I think there's something more attractive than a push pin. And because it's flashing, that means I can move it anywhere I want. So I'm just going to click it right there. But now I'm going to click on this corresponding yellow push pin, and voila, you have a gazillion different types of icons to use. My favorite is the arrow because it's so easy to see, but not a white one. Let's make it a red one, and let's make it really, really big. So on the scale, I'm going to make this a giant one. And while I'm here, and I'm not sure if you can see it, but on the very bottom, let me see if I can close this up a little bit. On the very bottom of all the icons, you can add a custom icon. And what I've done in the past is I've taken a teacher's face and made it into a custom icon and put it up on top of the school, which is pretty funny, pretty unusual. But if you have, you know, like a scientific piece of equipment that you're going to be taking out to the field and you want to make that into a custom icon, you can certainly do that just by taking a picture of it and then uploading it into the icons. So keep in mind, you can make custom icons. You could probably, well, you could definitely take your school mascot, whatever you want to do. But right now, I'm just going to use that arrow, and I've made this huge red arrow. And as long as it's blinking, I can move it, and I'm going to put it right there. And I know that it's huge and it's overkill, but I just want to show you what you could do. So here is my first place mark, and I'm going to click OK. Now, once I say OK, it's locked there. I cannot move it. But let's pretend that we want to move it, that we made a mistake. We want to move it down a little bit. The only way to open it up again is to right click on that place mark, go down to properties, and then it is now active again. So I'm going to move it closer to the water, click OK, and now my huge icon is made. So again, all I did is I right clicked on my places, went to add, and added a folder, and I gave that folder a name. And remember, anything you put in that white space is going to automatically be put into, you'll be able to see it down below. And then I right clicked inside of that folder, and I went to add, and I added a place mark. So go ahead and turn this off for the time being and try this out, and make sure that you're able to right click on my places and make a folder, and then add a couple of place marks. And then when we come back, we'll actually go down and add an image also to this folder. So good luck!